Sometimes the most memorable play in America's favorite sport doesn't involve a ball at all. It involves a grown man, often a millionaire, completely losing his mind in front of the entire world. This is the high-stakes, high-drama world of Major League Baseball, a pressure cooker where nine-figure contracts and legacies on the line can make even the calmest professional snap. We're talking about meltdowns so epic they go viral, tirades so legendary they get their own t-shirts, and theatrics so wild you can't believe they're real. These are the insane MLB ejections that fans will never forget. Aaron Boone, the Savages in the Box Rant, 2019.
I'll tell you what, young umpires.
Let's start with a moment that became an instant classic. A tirade so perfect, it was practically poetry. The year is 2019. The New York Yankees are in a heated battle with the Tampa Bay Rays, and the home plate umpire, Brennan Miller, is a rookie with a, let's say, inconsistent strike zone. Yankees manager Aaron Boone had seen enough. After a borderline pitch was called a strike on Brett Gardner, Boone came storming out of the dugout, and thanks to a hot mic, the world got a front row seat to one of the greatest managerial rants of all time.
I'll tell you what, young umpires,
He wasn't just yelling, he was delivering a monologue. He clapped his hands in the ump's face for emphasis, pointed back to the dugout, and dropped the line that would become a rallying cry for the entire season. "My guys are savages in that box." He wasn't just angry about one call, he was defending his players, telling the world they were elite hitters being held back. The rant immediately went viral. Fans made merchandise. It became a defining moment of the Yankees season, transforming a simple ejection into a legendary declaration of war. It was raw, passionate, and exactly what you want to see from a manager fighting for his team. Francisco Cervelli and Clint Hurdle, the double ejection debacle, 2018.
Cervelli. And now Cervelli looks like he...
Sometimes an ejection isn't a solo performance. It's a tag team explosion fueled by bad blood and a simmering rivalry. That's exactly what happened on a tense September night in 2018 between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Milwaukee Brewers. Tensions were already sky high. The Brewers had already plunked Pirates star Starling Marte with a pitch earlier in the game. So in the 8th inning, when a Pirates pitch sailed high and tight to Brewers MVP Christian Yelich, the umpire immediately issued warnings to both benches. Pirates catcher Francisco Cervelli was having none of it. From his perspective, his team was being punished for a pitch that didn't even hit anyone, while the other team got away with actually hitting his guy. He started jawing at the home plate umpire, refusing to let it go. His passion earned him a quick ejection. That's when his manager, Clint Hurdle, came storming out. Now he was defending his player and protesting the initial warning. It was a heated, face-to-face tirade that quickly resulted in the second ejection of the inning. In a matter of minutes, the Pirates had lost both their starting catcher and their manager. It's a perfect example of how the intense pressure of a late-season divisional game can boil over into absolute chaos. Brett Lawrie, the helmet toss heard round the league, 2012.
And Lawrie threw him out, and then the helmet, and that's good.
While some ejections are funny, others remind you just how thin the line is between passion and danger. In 2012, Toronto Blue Jays third baseman Brett Lawrie was a young player known for his fiery, all-out style of play. But one night, that fire exploded. In a tense game against the Rays, Lawrie was called out on strikes on 2 consecutive pitches he felt were way outside the zone. He completely snapped. He spiked his helmet to the ground in a fit of rage. But here's where it went from a normal tantrum to a major incident. The helmet took a bizarre bounce and flew directly into home plate umpire Bill Miller. Miller immediately ejected him, and chaos ensued. Lawrie had to be restrained by his teammates as he continued to scream at the umpire. The fallout was immediate. Was it intentional or a ridiculously unlucky bounce? Lawrie insisted it was an accident, but the league didn't care. He was suspended for 4 games. The incident sparked a massive debate about player conduct and respect for officials. These are powerful athletes, and when their emotions boil over, the results can go from theatrical to downright dangerous in a split second. Lou Piniella, a classic dirt-kicking spectacle, 2007. You can't have a list of legendary ejections without paying homage to one of the all-time masters of the meltdown, Sweet Lou Piniella. Throughout his career, Piniella turned to getting tossed into an art form. While his most famous base-throwing antics happened in the 90s, his 2007 performance with the Chicago Cubs was a masterclass for the modern era. The play was a close tag at third base. The runner was called out. Piniella, seeing it differently from the dugout, came out like a bolt of lightning. The show began. First, the hat came off and was slammed into the dirt. Then came the signature move, the furious dirt kicking. He wasn't just kicking it aimlessly, he was bearing the umpire's shoes in a cloud of dust, punctuating each kick with a fresh wave of yelling. He got his money's worth, circling the umpire and getting every last word in before finally being escorted away. For Piniella, an ejection wasn't just an act of frustration, it was a strategic tool. He knew exactly how to fire up his team, ignite the home crowd, and completely shift the momentum of a game. It was pure, old-school, beautiful baseball rage. Bryce Harper, the walk-off revenge, 2016.
Brian Knight hangs out to make sure Robinson...
This next one isn't just an ejection. It's a story of anger, vindication, and perfect timing, starring one of baseball's most electrifying and polarizing figures, Bryce Harper. In 2016, Harper was with the Washington Nationals. He was already in the dugout, fuming, when he decided to argue balls and strikes on behalf of his teammate, Clint Robinson. Umpire Brian Knight had a quick hook and tossed Harper from the dugout. Harper was livid, but he had to go. Or did he? Just a few pitches later, Robinson did the unthinkable. He crushed a walk-off home run to win the game. As the Nationals poured out of the dugout to celebrate at home plate, a familiar face sprinted out with them. It was Harper. Freshly ejected, he ran onto the field, pointed directly at umpire Brian Knight, and screamed two very clear words that we can't repeat on YouTube. It was the ultimate act of defiance. He got the last laugh, celebrating his team's victory, while simultaneously getting his revenge on the man who kicked him out. Of course, he got a hefty fine for it, but for Harper and Nationals fans, it was worth every penny. It was pure, unfiltered passion and a moment of cinematic drama that you just can't script. Joey Votto, When the Nice Guy Snaps, 2015.
More than just lip service. Mask coming off, he's looking for Brian Price to come on out and help. He gets thrown.
What makes an outburst truly shocking? When it comes from the last person you'd ever expect. Cincinnati Reds first baseman Joey Votto is widely known as one of the most patient, analytical, and stoic players in the game. He's more likely to debate philosophy with an umpire than to scream at one, which is why his meltdown in 2015 was so incredible. After getting ejected for arguing a called third strike, something inside Votto just broke. He slammed his helmet down in disgust, which is normal enough. But then, as he walked back to the dugout, he turned and continued his tirade. Still furious, he began grabbing bats and batting gloves from the dugout rack and started throwing them onto the field, littering the area around home plate. It was a complete and total break in character. The man who built a career on discipline and control was having a full-on tantrum. It was a stunning display that showed that the pressure of the batter's box can push even the most composed player past their breaking point. When a guy like Votto loses his cool, you know the frustration is real. David Bell, The Managerial Charge, 2019.
It's 2 at a time. And maybe it's more permissive in baseball today, but there's some guys who don't.
Most ejections are a one-on-one affair, a player or manager versus an umpire. But in July 2019, Cincinnati Reds manager David Bell decided to skip the middleman and go straight for the opposition, sparking one of the wildest brawls in recent memory. The bad blood between the Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates had been simmering all season, centered on pitchers throwing at batters. When Pirates reliever Keone Kala threw a pitch high and inside near the head of a Reds batter, the benches cleared. But this wasn't just a bit of shoving. As the chaos erupted, David Bell sprinted out of the Reds dugout, bypassed the entire scrum of players, and made a beeline directly for Pirates manager Clint Hurdle. He had to be tackled by his own players to stop him from getting to Hurdle. It was pure, unfiltered rage, a manager so fed up with the other team's antics that he was ready to fight their manager himself. Bell was, of course, instantly ejected, along with several players, including Yasiel Puig, who was in the middle of the fight despite having already been traded from the Reds earlier that day. The brawl resulted in 8 total suspensions. Bell's charge was the flashpoint, a stunning display of a manager literally willing to go to war for his players. It was a chaotic, ugly, and absolutely electrifying moment that showed just how personal and violent a baseball rivalry can get. So what do you think? Which ejection is the most insane of all time? Is there a legendary meltdown that we missed? Let us know down in the comments. Until next time, peace out.